is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And good morning, I'm Rafael Sanchez. It is August the 4th. In the news this morning, another busy night for Metro Police as they investigate multiple shootings across the city. The latest on those investigations and how city leaders are seeking to improve public safety.
Plus, a second student at New Palestine High School has tested positive for the coronavirus. This morning, the message school leaders have for parents and how they plan to slow the spread of the virus.
And Lauren, for those with cystic fibrosis, mask wearing and social distancing is a reality that came along long before the pandemic. This morning, a local family shares what they've been living with this chronic illness during this COVID-19 period.
But we do want to wish you a good morning and thanks for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana. Let's toss it over to Rafael. Good morning. Thanks for joining us from down in Johnson County.
Hey, Lauren, good morning to you. And boy, was Alyssa Donovan on point yesterday.
Yes.
By the afternoon, the downpour just came down. And I am so happy that you told us to keep that umbrella handy because, boy, did I need that umbrella and everything else. I think I also needed a kayak.
I know.
It was raining down here in Johnson County.
I know. We got a lot of rain. And I have to admit, I told everyone to have their umbrella. I forgot mine yesterday afternoon, and I got caught in the rain leaving the grocery store. So do as I say, not as I do is kind of the moral of that story. Today, you definitely need that umbrella. We are going to see some calmer conditions today, and it starts a streak of some quiet weather over the next couple days, starting this morning with our temperatures in the 60s. And you can see on our Weather Now cam that we do have that low level of clouds right now. That's going to clear out a little bit as we head through the day. That's because of high pressure that's going to be building in from the north. That's also going to bring us that cooler air as I've been talking about over the past couple days here. So what's going on is we have those low clouds. Could see maybe a stray shower yet this morning and through the midday hour, but most of us are going to stay dry today. Just can't rule it out quite yet as we still have a little bit of lingering moisture in the air. But then that high pressure is really going to take control as we head into the afternoon and the rest of the week. And those temperatures are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees below average for our daytime highs. Today, starting with those cloudy skies in the 60s, we'll climb into the mid 70s this afternoon.
All right. Thanks so much, Alyssa. Let's take a look at your drive right now. This is I-465 in Crawfordsville Road. This is over on the west side where traffic's pretty quiet. It's traveling up to speed, both northbound and southbound on 465, as you can see there. We'll continue to keep our eyes on your roads, but right now there are no crashes to report. It is 5:02 and new from overnight. A man is dead after a shooting on the northeast side. This happened just after 10:30 last night on 35th Street near North Keystone Avenue. Police located the victim, who was pronounced dead at the scene. Details on a suspect have not been released at this time. Anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
And Lauren, also new from overnight, police say a 32-year-old man is recovering after being shot. Now, this happened on the city's east side. Police say the gunman approached the victim just before 12:30. It is still unclear what led up to the shooting. Investigators say the victim was grazed by bullets and not seriously injured.
With increasing crime in the city on track to have the most murders ever in a single year, Indianapolis city leaders are taking steps to increase your safety. Starting Thursday, there will be a series of public safety meetings held. The community conversations will be done in partnership with the NYU School of Law and Criminal Justice Lab. The first meeting will offer opportunities for community input on policy and safety priorities. It will be held virtually and hosted by members of the City County Council. We have more information on this and how you can attend right now. Just go to theindychannel.com.
The rollout of Metro police officers now wearing body cameras is now officially underway. The department hopes to train up and outfit 10 officers every single day now through November. This, of course, starting in the East District. The cameras zip into the officers' uniforms so they can't be knocked off. And they will automatically start recording whenever an officer is dispatched to a call, turns on their lights and sirens, begins running, or reaches for a weapon on their holster. The first cameras were deployed yesterday, and Mayor Joe Hogsett says this is one key part of IMPD's ongoing efforts to improve transparency and accountability with the public.
To be sure, this is not a cure-all. And with last week's release of IMPD's new use of force policy, We know that body cameras are only one part of a larger effort to improve trust between our community and our law enforcement personnel.
While I think we know that having video alone does not ensure justice or right treatment, I do believe that this is a step forward toward transparency that's long overdue.
Police say all footage from the body cams will be uploaded in real time to the cloud, so no one will be able to alter or delete it. Now, video will be stored for 190 days, and the public can request to see it. IMPD hopes to have all officers trained and outfitted with their cameras by November. Lauren?
Raphael, it is 5:05. Now to the toll on the COVID-19 pandemic and the toll it's taking on our Hoosier lives. According to the State Department of Health, 2,780 people have died from the virus here in the state of Indiana. 5 new deaths were reported between Saturday and Sunday. More than 775,000 people have been tested between July 21st and the 27th. 7.4% of people tested positive. When it comes to the healthcare system, just over 39% of the intensive care unit beds are available across the state. Nearly 85% of ventilators are available.
So the new demands of the day, they include wearing a mask, keeping a distance, and of course, constant hand washing, constant sanitizing. And for families living with cystic fibrosis, those protocols, they're nothing new. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson joined us live to explain one family's message. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So across the country, there are about 30,000 people living with cystic fibrosis. And since the start of this pandemic, only 122 of them have tested positive for COVID-19. And that's something Brenda Fox says just proves that the cystic fibrosis community knows how to handle what's happening right now across our country. Fox has 2 children with cystic fibrosis, 17-year-old Lucas and 14-year-old Hannah. They were both diagnosed about 12 years ago. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disorder that affects the lungs, pancreas, and other organs. And the family has always had to take extra precautions to make sure Lucas and Hannah stay healthy. Now that the CDC and Governor Holcomb are asking everyone to mask up, Fox is hoping you'll listen.
Wear a mask. You know, you're only not helping yourself, but you're also helping the person that, you know, you're walking by. I mean, it's something that we're all going to have to be accustomed to for who knows how long.
So Fox says they are trying to live their lives as normal as possible. She says her son Lucas is back to work right now, and her kids do plan on going to school 2 days a week once it is back in session. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you. The time right now is 5:08. Some Indiana schools, including one in southern Hancock County, did not get through the first day of class without a COVID complication. A student at New Pal High School was sent home after school leaders learned the student tested positive for the coronavirus. We're told the student tested positive last week by Hancock Health and was supposed to remain in quarantine for 14 days. However, a note from the health department explaining when to come back to school had the incorrect date. School officials say it's going to take a team effort to prevent something like this from happening again and to slow the spread of the virus.
It's going to be a team effort for us this year, and really need our parents to make sure that their kids are healthy when they're coming to school. We believe in our plan in terms of stopping and slowing the spread of COVID-19 at school, but we're leaning heavily on our parents to make sure that that's happening at home as well.
School leaders say they immediately notified close contacts of the student and sent them home for the next 14 days. The school district also says it uses assigned seating charts for contact tracing. The Community School Corporation of Southern Hancock County assigned seats in classrooms and common areas. You can read the full joint statement from the school district and the Hancock Health explaining what happened. It's all on the RTV6 mobile app. And this was actually the second student at the school to have a positive COVID test. Over the weekend, we learned that a member of New Pal's high school football team also tested positive for the virus. It was before classes resumed, but the student started optional summer practices last month. Other members of the team and their families were notified and advised to isolate. Raphael.
If you're struggling to make ends meet as this pandemic continues, you know you are not alone. The Rebound Indiana is our commitment here at RTV6 to connect you to the resources that you need to help you get beyond the pandemic. So Prairie Farms will be donating milk this afternoon from 1 to 4 in the afternoon at the Hancock County Fairgrounds. If you can't make it, there will be another giveaway on Wednesday the 19th from 8 a.m. until noon. This is video from a Prairie Farms donation event held back in June. So we'll keep you posted as these events go on throughout central Indiana. But Alyssa Donovan, it does not feel like June or August or July, more like May. What happened to the summer months?
I know. We're having a little fall hiccup in the middle of summer this year, and we are seeing those temperatures reflecting that for sure this morning. We are in the 60s across the area, 63 to start your day across Indianapolis. As we head into the noon hour, we'll be into the low 70s, and really that's where we're going to stay for most of our day. And then a lot of the week, we're just going to be into the mid 70s, which is about 10 degrees below average for this time of year. But you can see on our satellite and radar that we do have quite a bit of cloud coverage to start our day this morning. We're going to continue to see that cloud coverage until the noon hour, and then we'll start to see that break up. We'll see some peaks of sunshine this afternoon. Highs today only into the mid 70s.
All right, Alyssa, a British tabloid has released leaked footage of George Floyd's arrest. Just after the break, the details on this disturbing video and why now another investigation is underway.
And Hurricane Isaias has made landfall in the Carolinas. Straight ahead, the impact along the coast and its path moving forward on this Tuesday morning. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Welcome back. And new this morning, a Minnesota court is investigating how a British newspaper obtained police body camera footage showing the arrest and death of George Floyd. On Monday, the Daily Mail published parts of the videos from 2 Minneapolis police officers involved in Floyd's arrest. Videos were leaked to dailymail.com. The website shows about 10 minutes from former officer Thomas Lane's body cam and about 18 minutes from former officer Jay King's body cam. Last month, the judge allowed journalists and members of the public to view footage by appointment. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, whose office is leading this prosecution, released a statement saying that he was not the source of the leak.
The military has identified the victims of last week's amphibious assault training accident. According to the 15th Marine Expeditionary Force, 16 personnel were on board that vehicle when the crew reported taking on water. That this happened during shore-to-ship waterborne operations training off the coast of Southern California. 1 Marine was killed, 7 Marines and 1 sailor are presumed dead. 5 crew members were rescued. The incident remains under investigation.
Raphael, a federal judge in New Jersey is demanding change after her only son was killed in an attack at their home. Last month, attorney and men's rights activist Roy Den Hollander allegedly shot and killed Judge Esther Salas's son, Daniel. He had argued a case before Judge Salas. Then in a hate-filled writing online, he attacked her in racist and sexist terms. Judge Salas says that Den Hollander also kept a dossier on her family, and investigators say that he had a target list that included names of several other judges. Judge Salas says that more must be done to keep judges and their families safe.
2 weeks ago, my life as I knew it changed in an instant, and my family will never be the same. A madman who I believe was targeting me because of my position as a federal judge came to my house. My son's death cannot be in vain, which is why I am begging those in power to do something to help my brothers and sisters on the bench.
Judge Salas's husband was also shot during this attack. He's still in the hospital recovering. Police say the gunman, Den Hollander, died by suicide.
Hurricane Isaias came along the shore, came on shore overnight in the Carolinas. Of course, we're being told that in Myrtle Beach, things are calming down as we speak, but the threat of the storm continues as it moves up the East Coast. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
With high winds, rough waters, blinding rain, and flooded streets, Hurricane Isaias making landfall overnight in the Carolinas, coming ashore near Myrtle Beach.
We've already gotten down all the chairs and tables, brought everything inside.
Hundreds of thousands of customers without power in North Carolina, many sheltered in place.
You should take this storm seriously and make sure your family is ready.
Precautions a little different this time, with the U.S. still in the thick of the coronavirus pandemic. In North Carolina, evacuees are getting their temperatures checked before entering shelters. Tidelands Medical Center called in the National Guard weeks ago to help handle its COVID-19 cases. Now the staff is preparing to face a surge in patients after the storm.
The hospital is absolutely full with COVID, and now with a storm coming, it's just something else to deal with.
Americans up and down the East Coast gearing up as Isaias quickly moves north. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts could slam New York City today, stronger than Superstorm Sandy, which destroyed parts of New York in 2012. Workers putting up mile-long barriers in low-lying areas like Lower Manhattan to keep the water out.
I think it's like, post-traumatic stress. We hear hurricane and we all get nervous.
Crews in Virginia using statewide resources to get ready for possible widespread outages and downed power lines.
We're using social distancing, but with that being said, we still have a job to do.
Before making its way here to the U.S., Isaias killed at least 3 people in the Caribbean and knocked out power to nearly 500,000 in Puerto Rico. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And Isaias is also having a small impact here in Indianapolis. Of course, not the same type of impact that we are seeing along the coast, where you can see that moving towards New York this morning. But what it is doing is it's helping stall out a cold front that is in place over Indiana right now. That is interacting with that humid, warm air from that tropical system, and then that is causing it to stall out. So we're not going to see any precipitation related to that today. If anything, maybe a quick spot shower this morning and through the midday hours, but besides that, most of us are going to stay dry. It's just helping keep this system in place over Indiana today. So what's going on is we have that cloud coverage across the area this morning. We're really socked in with those clouds. Now we are seeing some moisture from that system trickling into our southeast counties. That's bringing us just a little bit of fog across southeast counties this morning. Not expecting that to continue to spread into central Indiana. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that, though. If that's part of your morning commute, just be aware of that patchy fog that has developed. Besides that, things are quiet on the radar. We just have a lot of that cloud coverage hanging around from that cold front that moved through yesterday. Again, can't rule out a quick spot shower. Most of us are just going to see that cloud coverage, but then you can see on TrueCast that we do have that potential of maybe a quick hiccup of spot showers around the midday hour. If we do see that, it will be very quick and very light, not nearly the downpours that we saw yesterday afternoon. And that will be very quick, and then we will see some peaks of sunshine as we head into the afternoon, as we see some clearing, because high pressure is building in from the north. That high pressure also bringing in much cooler air, and you can really see that with our morning lows today. We're in the 60s here in Indianapolis, but up near Minneapolis, 58, Sioux Falls, 51, 59 in Des Moines. And those cooler temperatures are making their way into the Midwest right now, so we are going to see our temperatures tomorrow morning closer to those into the mid-50s. So we are still falling with those temperatures as that cold front takes control of the forecast. But the good news with that, we are also going to see some drier and less humid conditions over the next couple days. High temperature is going to be a little bit low as well, about 10 to 15 degrees below average. Today, we're going to be in the low to mid 70s, and then we'll have a little bit of a warming trend as we head through the weekend, really getting back to average by Saturday and Sunday. Today, starting with those temperatures in the 60s, you don't need the umbrella. You really don't even need the coat. It's just going to be a pleasant day with that cloud coverage to start, and then a little bit of peak of sunshine throughout the afternoon. Highs today in the low to mid 70s, and again, below average for this time of year. Feels a little bit more like fall than summer. Temperatures will steadily climb throughout the week, staying below normal for much of it before we are back into those mid 80s by Saturday and Sunday. That's also when we have more humidity in the forecast and another chance of storms.
Alyssa, thank you so much. What a great forecast there. This morning, a recall involving food that could be in your refrigerator or freezer. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says that frozen taquitos and chimichangas may contain plastic that could pose a choking hazard. Multiple types of beef and chicken taquitos and chimichangas are included in this alert. Now, this covers ready-to-eat products containing diced chilies, green chilies, recalled by the producer, Sun Valley Foods. Products were shipped nationwide under several names, including Jose Ole, Casa Mamita, and of course Walmart's Great Value brand. The agency says not to consume the listed products, but to throw them out or return them to your store. At this point, there have not been any confirmed reports of health-related issues related to the consumption of these products. Greece has opened a new tourist attraction that's been centuries in the making. Up next, details on the historical site and how you can visit them without even leaving your couch. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning.
Well, one of the oldest shipwrecks in the world is now a brand new interactive museum, Raphael.
It's called the Parthenon of Shipwrecks. This ship sank in the Aegean Sea back around 500 BC. So, Lauren, I was not alive and there were no iPads at the time, just in case you were wondering. But it was previously accessible only to archaeologists. But the new attraction, though, will allow the public a chance to visit. Certified divers will be able to take a tour of that historic site, and those who can't dive will be able to take a virtual reality tour. I think I would prefer to take the dive than the tour at home, but I understand that these days maybe a little social distancing and watching it from home, but that would be amazing to be in the water to do that. I don't know.
I would take the virtual tour.
Ooh, I would do it.
Okay, you guys are brave.
Oh, yeah. A little nervous about sharks and stuff, but
it is cool.
Looks really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a pretty nice forecast as well, I should say. Beautiful forecast coming our way today. Temperatures are going to be a little bit below average, but it's going to feel really nice outside. Not going to feel like August. Feels more like fall, but you know, you take it as it comes. 75 degrees for our high today. Partly sunny skies throughout. We'll see a little bit more sunshine this afternoon. Can't rule out maybe a stray shower yet through the midday hour, but for the most part, we're going to be dry, staying dry through the rest of the week. And then we are going to see a little bit of a climb with those temperatures back into the 80s by the weekend. Chances of storms return on Sunday.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
On this Tuesday, several central Indiana school districts are being put to the test when it comes to COVID-19. Now at 5:30, the plan to keep schools accountable as more students return to the classroom. Plus this.
You can tell that the CF community is so used to what's going on.
Right.
You know, in the United States.
This morning, a local family is sharing their story about what it's like living with a chronic illness during a pandemic.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday, August the 4th. Lauren, if you step outside right now, it is simply cool. No humidity whatsoever, and a little cloudy here in Johnson County, but it looks like it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, I appreciate the update, Raphael. When I drove into work this morning, I told Alyssa it rained for 1 minute, downpoured on my car, and then it was done. So glad we got some of that out of the way. And Alyssa, we have a pretty nice forecast looking ahead.
Yeah, hopefully that's the only downpour we see. We can't rule out maybe one or two throughout the day, but for the most part, we are going to see dry conditions over today and over the next couple days. And as Raphael said, some cooler conditions and a lot less humidity in the forecast, and that's because we have high pressure in control, that cold front that swooped through yesterday. Right now, temperatures are in the low 60s, which is about where we should be this time of year, a little cooler than that. Those temperatures are going to continue to drop off in our morning lows. Tomorrow we'll be in the mid 50s. Right now, a little bit of cloud coverage that's keeping some of that warmth close to the surface. As we head through the day, we'll see some of that clear out and we'll see some peaks of sunshine this afternoon. A lot of us, though, are going to see quite a bit of cloud coverage throughout the day before things clear completely overnight. Highs today will be into the low to mid 70s. That's about 10 degrees lower than average, and we're going to stay that way for much of the week. We do have chances of storms in the forecast as we head towards the weekend. I'll have those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as we're heading out on the roads. This is I-65, a view here at Keystone Avenue, a spot where we have ongoing construction south of the downtown area. That continues today, but everything's traveling up to speed, so that is great news if that's part of your commute. New from overnight, a man is dead after a shooting on the northeast side. This happened just after 10:30 last night on 35th Street near North Keystone Avenue. Police located the victim, who was pronounced dead at the scene. Details on a suspect have not been released at this time. Anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
Laura, now to the latest on COVID-19's impact across our state. Here's a look at the latest numbers. The State Department of Health confirming 582 new cases of the virus. That brings Indiana's total number of cases to more than 68,000. 5 new deaths were also reported on Monday. 2,780 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. More than 775,000 people have been tested, with about 8.8% coming back positive.
Well, several central Indiana school districts are already being put to the test when it comes to COVID-19. Students in multiple districts have already tested positive for the virus, with school only just beginning. So we asked the state if it plans to provide more guidance on how to keep students and staff safe. The Department of Health tells RTV6 it's not tracking cases in schools right now. There's no requirement for schools to have their safety plans approved by the state. But the Department of Education says districts are required to update their continuous learning plans. The DOE plans to hold a media briefing this week to provide more information.
Here in Indianapolis, in Washington Township, officials announced fall sports will be played after all. The school board voted in favor of allowing students to resume athletics. Now, the reversal comes nearly 2 weeks after a woman whose son plays soccer at North Central shared concerns with RTV6 about the original decision to scrap sports. According to the resolution, Marion County Public Health Department guidance must be followed. The district will not provide transportation for practice, and athletic schedules cannot interfere with e-learning schedules. As you know, Washington Township schools started school last week completely virtual. In this day and age, COVID-19 has meant new requirements, Lauren, like wearing a mask, socially distancing, and of course, washing your hands, and plenty of sanitizing.
Yeah, it's something we're all getting used to, Raphael, but this morning, Kelsey Anderson explains to us that families across the country dealing with cystic fibrosis, these protocols are really nothing new.
Hey, good morning. So I spoke to a mother of 2, and she says both of her kids were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis just 12 years ago. And she says the recommendations that the CDC is offering right now, that's something they've been living with ever since that diagnosis.
We're used to social distancing and wearing the masks and, wearing the gloves and hand sanitizing.
Brenda Fox tells me her 17-year-old Lucas and 14-year-old Hannah both live their lives being extra cautious of those around them. They both have cystic fibrosis, a genetic disorder that affects the lungs, pancreas, and other organs. There are about 30,000 people across the country living with CF. And according to the CDC, of the 2,000 that have been tested for COVID-19, only 122 have tested positive, and just 2 people have died.
So you can tell that the CF community is so used to what's going on, in the United States.
Now Fox is asking everyone else to get on board with the mask up mandate, if not to help yourself, but to help others.
I just want people to take it serious, because you just never know that somebody could have it and, could give it to a child that has CF, or somebody with heart condition, or somebody with diabetes. People just have to know that this is our life. Get used to it.
Fox tells me that they are living their lives as normal as possible right now. Her son is back to work, and both kids do plan on going to school once it's back in session. But she says this is not that easy for people with children who are young who are diagnosed with CF, because they don't understand how to social distance themselves. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The time right now is 5:37. Pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly says it's now in the final stage of testing monoclonal antibodies to help treat COVID-19. That's a manufactured antibody therapy drug, which Lilly hopes will offer short-term immunity to people, and it could be used as a bridge until a COVID-19 vaccine is approved.
So we know from preclinical experimentation that the antibody has the potential to block transmission of the disease. In other words, if we give it to an individual, we're testing to see whether they're now protected from getting infected with the virus.
Lilly says it is recruiting 2,400 nursing home residents and staff for the trial, a population hit hard by this pandemic. It will determine if this therapy reduces the rate of infection and if it can reduce the COVID-19 complications. As we reported back in June, if this proves to be effective, this treatment could be available by the fall. The time right now is 5:38 on our Tuesday. Let's get another check of our forecast right now with Alyssa Donovan. Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Lauren. We are in for a really nice day today. We're seeing some cooler temperatures this morning, and I wanted to show you that you can really see that cooler and drier air just to the northwest of us. Chicago at 59 degrees right now. We're at 63 degrees here in Indianapolis. So cooler than average this morning, just a smidge, and we're going to continue falling with those temperatures throughout our mornings this week. Tomorrow we will be in the 50s as well, just as that cold front continues to persist over our area. That's also bringing us a little bit of cloud coverage this morning. That's helping lock in a little bit of warmer air, keeping us in the low 60s this morning across the area. As we head through the day, we'll see a lot of that cloud coverage clear out, and then we will see partly sunny skies this afternoon, highs in the mid 70s, and then we'll have a little bit of a climb as we head towards the weekend and chances of showers and storms. Back in the forecast, those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thank you. More cities are cracking down on large gatherings that can spread the coronavirus as cases continue to spike across the country. Straight ahead, the new data on the virus, including both good news and bad news.
Plus, with 91 days until the general election, can Texas be considered a swing state this election season? Details straight ahead right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back. Dr. Anthony Fauci is defending his colleague, Dr. Deborah Birx, after President Trump called her, quote, pathetic for saying the U.S. has entered, quote, a new phase of the pandemic. More cities are cracking down on large gatherings that can spread the virus. ABC's Megan Tabrizian has the new data on the virus, including some good news and some bad news.
This morning, new disagreements among the White House and the coronavirus task force.
What we're seeing in some of the yellow states and other states is that same insidious increase in percent positive.
The virus is receding. In hotspots across the South and West, we've seen slow improvements.
President Trump contradicting Dr. Anthony Fauci about the state of the virus as the U.S. death toll surges past 155,000.
I don't agree with Fauci.
Just hours earlier, the president publicly blasted Dr. Deborah Birx for the first time, calling her pathetic in a tweet after she warned Sunday that the pandemic has entered a new phase. While new data shows daily cases have now dropped below 50,000 for the first time since the 4th of July, according to an internal FEMA memo obtained by ABC News, deaths are up 24% from a week ago. Mississippi, now the state with the highest positivity rate. 21% of people tested were infected. Nearly every ICU bed in the state is full. And now new trouble for schools. In Georgia, nearly 300 teachers are out sick after one district required them to return to school last week.
And it's very hard to focus on the content, to focus on what I'm paid to do because of this health pandemic.
And in Maryland, the governor has overturned a county decision that would have banned private schools from opening until at least October 1st. The move now clears the way for students, including President Trump's son, to return to class.
We must be flexible and open-minded, and one size does not fit all.
Back in Washington, the White House has notified employees it is now mandatory to participate in random COVID-19 testing. Senior aides who are with President Trump on a regular basis are still tested daily. Megan Tabrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Let's keep talking about your health. The coronavirus has been disproportionately impacting people living with diabetes. The American Diabetes Association tells us that 40% of COVID-19 deaths have involved people with the disease. 90% of hospital stays have been people with diabetes or other underlying conditions.
Diabetes was a health crisis and epidemic in this country before the pandemic. What the pandemic has done really is shine a very bright light on an old problem.
She has lived with diabetes for 16 years. She's also worried about additional financial struggles brought on by the pandemic. Even before COVID-19, 1 in 4 people were rationing their insulin just to get by. Former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign is making some major moves in Texas with the hiring of 6 new staffers. Lauren.
And Raphael, this morning, our Joe St. George is asking if the Lone Star State is really a swing state this election.
It's hard to believe that a state that's elected conservative leaders like Senator Ted Cruz to Congress is being considered a swing state this election, but Democrats believe it is. Former Vice President Joe Biden hiring 6 top advisors for Texas today, including a state director. Not every state has a team, so that suggests Democrats are serious. This comes as a poll taken from CBS News in mid-July shows Biden trailing President Trump by just 1 point in the state. Biden has also launched this digital ad in Texas in recent days, commemorating the El Paso Walmart shooting from 1 year ago. So why is Texas so critical? It has 38 electoral college votes, and only 270 are needed to win the election. And look at this, if Democrats are somehow able to make it a yellow swing state like the others and Biden wins Texas, well, that's all Democrats need. And we should note President Trump did visit the state last week and has been tweeting about Texas the last few days. But Republicans believe they still have the edge in Texas, although it's going to be a lot closer this time. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Well, today marks 1 year since 9 people were killed, 17 others injured during a shooting in Dayton, Ohio. A police officer took down the shooter in what is called the Oregon District, and the bouncer on duty at Ned Pepper's Bars, Jeremy Ganger, leapt into action onto the gun. Ganger said that he has PTSD due to what happened. He adds that the support of the community, who call him a hero, has made all the difference.
We all love each other. We have each other's backs. We talk. We're always there for each other. It's a great community to be part of.
Ganger says that he was just doing his job, and he credits the police for their quick action in stopping the shooter. A memorial was placed at the bar yesterday. It includes Post-it notes from residents thanking officers for their bravery and remembering those victims.
New overnight, Hurricane Isaias making landfall in the Carolinas. The Category 1 storm bringing some extreme flooding along the coast, including Myrtle Beach, where we're told things are calming down just a bit. Now, the hurricane is forecast to impact the nation's capital, along with Philadelphia and New York throughout the day before moving up the eastern seaboard. The National Weather Service says that Isaias could bring the strongest winds to New York City since Superstorm Sandy. That was almost 8 years ago. Now, time to check your forecast here. And Alyssa, a much drier and cooler day in central Indiana.
Yeah, that's right. And we actually have Isaias to thank for some of that weather that we're going to be seeing, as well as high pressure that's moving in from the north. What that's doing, though, that storm is helping stall out a cold front that's over Indiana right now, helping continue to bring us that cooler weather as things sort of just stall out across the Midwest. So we are seeing some cloud coverage this morning. That's just remnants from that cold front that's passed through. And as we head through the day, we are going to see some of that cloud coverage clear out, but the first half of the day we're going to see partly sunny skies. Can't rule out a spot shower across the area yet through about the midday hour, just some remnants from that system. And we are also seeing a little bit of that moisture hanging around in the air for areas to the southeast. So we are just seeing some fog developing, but we're starting to see that dissipate, as you can see on our visibility map. As we head through the day, starting with those cloudy skies this morning, can't rule out that stray pop-up shower throughout the day. Very small chance of that. If you see it, it's going to be very brief. We're not going to see that heavy downpour like what we saw yesterday afternoon. If anything, it will be very light. And then we are going to see some peaks of sunshine this afternoon as we see some clearing. High pressures building in from the north. As it does, temperatures are also falling. So today we're starting with those temperatures in the 60s, 63 in Indianapolis right now. But I want to show you just to the northwest of us in Minneapolis and in Chicago and Des Moines, Iowa. We are seeing those temperatures in the 50s, and you can really see that cold air that's sinking down from Canada right now. That's going to start to shift into the Midwest, and that's going to move over Indianapolis as we head into tomorrow morning. So temperatures by tomorrow morning going to be a little bit colder. We're going to drop about 10 degrees from where we are now. So if you think it's cool this morning, going to be a little bit cooler tomorrow morning. Our daytime highs are going to reflect that too. So today, our highs will be into the mid 70s, low 70s, especially in some of those northern locations. And then we'll see just a little bit of a warming trend as we head through the week, getting back close to average by the weekend. That's also when we're going to see humidity return to the forecast and the potential of some showers and thunderstorms. Today, though, we are pretty much in the clear for that, save for maybe a spot shower here and there. Most of us are going to be dry. Temperatures climbing into the low to mid 70s across the area. And that 7-day forecast looking really good the middle of the week. Our work week below normal. Feels nice outside, low humidity for this forecast, back into the 80s by Friday, but the low 80s. And then we are going to see that humidity and chances of storms back in the forecast about halfway through the weekend.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this morning. This is I-465, a view near Westfield Boulevard here on the north side. Traffic's picking up both eastbound and westbound on 465 at this early hour. The good news around the metro area, no crashes, no major delays to slow down your morning commute.
So, Lauren, you probably have heard this before. If you build it, they will come. Eventually, right? The Field of Dreams Major League Baseball game has now been postponed to 2021. That's right, another casualty of COVID-19. The very first Major League Baseball game in Iowa was supposed to be next week at a farm in Dyersville. That's the site of the 1989 movie Field of Dreams, where it was originally filmed. It would have been a matchup between the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees. It is now unclear which teams will play at the Field of Dreams in the year 2021.
All right, well, before he was a professional wrestler, he was a football player, and now Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson partly owns a football league. The Rock and his business partner, Danny Garcia, announced that they've joined with an investment firm to buy the XFL. They bought the league for $15 million. It was supposed to hold its inaugural season this year, but it was also canceled due to COVID-19. Well, a birthday card can mean the world to someone, right? So after the break, we'll introduce you to one woman who wanted a very specific number of them. It's 5:52. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Here's an inspiration on this Tuesday. More honors this morning for a now famous 100-year-old British coronavirus fundraiser. You know him. Sir Thomas More was knighted, as you may recall, by Queen Elizabeth last month after he raised a record $41 million for healthcare workers. The centenarian raised all of that cash by walking 100 laps of his garden with the aid of a walker. Now the World War II veteran has yet another title which he's earned. He received an honorary military promotion, Lauren, to captain. So say good morning to Captain Moore.
Very cool. Well deserved there. So one birthday card for every year of your life. That's not too much to ask for, right? Well, if you're turning 108 years old, it could be kind of a tall order, but that's what Gertie Apkus told the Denver TV station KMGH. She wanted that last month, and she got her wish. Gertie hit the 108-year mark last week, and she received 125 cards, so a few extras there. She's already lived through the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 and now COVID-19. So she's no big deal. She's been through this before.
Yeah, she's been through this before.
Oh,
I don't think a lot of people can say that.
Oh, very happy birthday to
happy
Gertie.
Birthday, Gertie. We are going to see a really nice day on tap, starting a little cloudy this morning. Temperatures in the 60s. As we head through the day, we'll see some peaks of sunshine clearing out overnight with a lot of that cloud coverage. Highs today only into the 70s. And looking ahead to the rest of the week, we're going to see a slow, steady climb, but we're going to stay a bit below average over the next couple days with dry and mild conditions. 83 by Friday. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.